suspicious.
Stay suspicious. Stay suspicious.
All right, welcome to this episode of This Is Sus. Today we are here with, who are you?
I'm Lori.
And who are you?
Nicole,
And I'm April.
you sounded unsure.
I know, I am very sure of who I am, usually, but
Except
I don't know
for
why
today.
I sounded unsure. Yeah, today I might not be April, I might be someone else, who knows? So anyway, we're going to start off with our usual thing, an icebreaker, so who wants to go first?
Me. Lori, if you were a flavor of ice cream, what would you be and why?
That's a tough question. I mean, there's some good answers.
Why is that tough?
Well, because I'm a very complex person. So, like, some days I'd probably be a cherries jubilee. And then other days I might even be a cotton candy. You know, cotton candy ice cream. Delicious. But also, sometimes I could be like a maple walnut.
What exactly characterizes maple walnut emotionally?
I think deep emotions.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, like
When
maple walnut, just
Okay, to be honest, when I think of maple walnut, I think of some old man study who has like that old, like dark mahogany wood, or like maple walnut wood or something. And
Yeah.
it's like maybe he owns a boat, and maybe he likes young girls. Like, I mean, like there's an age gap relationship there.
So now it's the pedo ice cream.
Yeah. Sorry. Kate, would you like to change your answer now that I said that?
I'm gonna stick with cherries jubilee, and on a weekend, cotton candy, and we'll just save like what maple walnut for like a
What
random
do you think
Tuesday.
maple walnut sounds like to you?
We want to know what you think.
Do you agree with me?
Canadian, but
It makes me think of my
apparently it's
grandpa.
terrible. Yeah.
Was okay.
But he. But that now I feel uncomfortable.
I mean, okay, maybe
But he's
we
passed on, so it's okay.
No, that's not. We don't speak ill of the dead here on This Is Sus.
We don't speak ill of Lori's grandpa.
Okay,
This is sus.
true. Yes. True.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna take
Moving on.
on.
April.
Don't throw those. I made those special.
We're done with it.
No, what if I want to answer that question in the future?
Remember it.
We'll add
Remember
it
it.
back in.
April.
What?
What is the most awkward thing that's ever happened to you on a first date?
Oh no, I was hoping
I
I wouldn't
want to
get
answer
this one.
Oh, that's such a
Why?
good
What do you
one.
know?
Remember that movie in Regina?
Oh yeah, I've had a few then. I mean, there was something awkward that happened on one of her first dates that she was on, and I just like it wasn't. I guess it wasn't a first date. Anyway, on my own first date, I'm not going through that whole story because it's too long. But one time I went on a date with somebody, and he told me his entire medical history. And then he asked about like his family, familial medical history. And he asked about mine, and I was like, felt like I was in some sort of interview for like being a baby maker. And I was like, this is awkward. Like, why do you need to know? And then he was very into like the stars and like what stars were. And I kept saying that, oh, that's the North Star. And I was pointing at like in a different direction than north. And I was like, no, I know because I've studied it. And he was like, no, I actually studied it. And he didn't know I was joking. And at this point I was like, I never want to see this person again. But I was nice. Anyway, yeah, it was really awkward because he was getting like very emotional over like his dead grandparents that had passed away when he was 6. And he was like, and then they died of a heart attack. And I didn't know how to respond to that because like, he was 6, and I know that it sucks like losing a grandparent, but it was just very awkward to deal with on a first date.
That's heavy.
That's
Yes.
a lot. That's a
Really
lot.
heavy.
And yeah, it was just awkward. So yeah,
I absolutely understand.
yeah.
That's awesome.
That was a great question.
Your
Yes.
turn. I don't want to move this. Okay.
I will grab it. Okay. Lori? No, who? Nicole. Oh, God. If you could rename any common object, what would you rename it to, and what would it be?
Any common? That's so hard.
Okay, what would you call these things? Because you're not a big fan.
No, give her. No, I want her to come up with her own thing. Don't give her any tips or hints.
These would be ear sweat makers. A common object. What would be a common object? A dishwasher would be a sparkle maker.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
And I'm done. We're good.
Okay,
Imagination's done.
cool. Nice. So that was our icebreakers.
No, we're not putting it back in there.
Why?
Always move forward, April. Always move forward.
I want somebody else to answer that question.
Okay, we'll put this one back in because that's a juicy one.
Also, the ice cream one was good, and you threw it behind you. I worked really hard on those.
It's not like there's a pit of lava behind me. Lori cleans her carpets.
I did. I witnessed it earlier.
It's true.
Okay, moving on.
So our first story is going to be from April.
Yes. Okay. So it is from Reddit, and it is called "My Husband Has a Second Family." Ooh. Yes.
I'm already annoyed.
Yeah. So it's on the best of Redditor updates, and it was originally posted on the True Off of My Chest and on, I guess, her own page as well. So if you want to look for it, it's called, "My Husband Has a Second Family." Okay. So the ultimate cliche happened in my life, and I'm absolutely broken. My husband, my rock, has been having an affair for over 17 years. We have been married for over 25 years. We have 3 beautiful children, 2 in college, and 1 who still lives at home. But it turns out he has had another set this whole time. My husband is an insurance broker. He has multiple branches all over the country, which he spends 1 week on and 1 week off. Turns out on his week off, he has been with his other family in Albuquerque, where his other branch is. He's got a fiance whom he's had 2 kids with, both in their early teens. I found out when I went to make a new Facebook account, and when I searched my husband's name, another profile with another last name popped up. And through that profile were the links to his fiance and his other kids' Facebooks. My husband is currently with said family, and I know it's him because his most recent post is a photo of him and that other family eating dinner. Among those photos were photos of him kissing the girl and him being fatherly with the kids, who look nearly identical to my husband. I am absolutely broken. Almost every part of me wants to scream in his face and reprimand him for ruining my life. But another part of me wants to pretend to be ignorant and let it be. Because our life is so peaceful, he is good with our kids, and he is the main source of financial income. He is loving, but he is also all of those things to another family. Not only would I be tearing a gaping hole into my family, I'd be opening up a vortex for them as well. My heart is in shambles. I've never cried so much in my life. My youngest son is currently on a graduation trip with friends, and I'm alone till my lying, cheating bastard husband comes home. My life is absolutely wrecked. It's literally a movie plot. I'm hoping he'll just come home and it'll be a big misunderstanding why he's kissing another woman with a ring on her finger. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm tempted to pack a bag and just leave. I can't be in the home where we raised our kids, where we spent every Christmas for the last 26 years, where I've been alone on New Year's taking care of our babies while he works his ass off. I just can't. I want to leave a note for him to come home to and hurt him like he's hurt me, but I don't think that's possible. I don't know how I'll ever face him again. Initial thoughts? We have more, but initial thoughts?
I don't know how somebody has the audacity to do that. Like, clearly this woman seems like she's, a good wife, a good mother. We don't know everything, but 17 years he's been having an affair?
Yeah, and they've been together for 26 years. Or they at least have had 26 Christmases.
Yeah. I couldn't stay. There's no way. I couldn't stay. I
do see her point, and the only point, which is he's the main source of financial income, so I can see how she feels lost.
It would be scary. It'd be a very scary thought.
Also, I find her to be very considerate of the other family, who those kids and maybe that wife, that fiance or whoever doesn't know, and they would be tearing apart that family.
Yeah.
And turning their life upside down too.
Yeah. This
But
woman
also,
definitely has compassion.
I would
sure.
be like, okay, not to bring it down to money, but he's been spending money on this other family that is technically, you know, if he's the main source of financial income, they're married, 50% is hers. Or,
Yeah.
Unless they have a prenup.
I was actually wondering, like, how much money does this guy make? That
Yeah.
He supports 2 families with no blinks. And obviously he's withholding all of that from her too.
Yeah.
Because his tax return would show that, and she must not have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wonder how it works because it says he has a different last name on the Facebook
Yeah,
profile.
you can put your last name as like gobbledygook on Facebook. It doesn't matter.
But his
Yeah.
fiance, after 17 years, must have seen ID.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I guess fake IDs are
my
a
last
thing.
name isn't my last name.
But I guess
on
like
Facebook.
maybe he's like a perpetual fiance to her. Like maybe they've been engaged for 10 years or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like if he doesn't know what's gonna happen, like what is he thinking? Like what does he think is gonna happen when he's like 80? You know, like what happens when you're retired,
Like, yeah,
and you're
it's gonna
not
come out at some
traveling? You know, like how long is this farce or whatever that word is gonna be? Like,
I don't know. I'm wondering how. So she said that he is a good husband and loving father. But I also noticed that this thing started around 7-8 years after they were married, and sort of that 6 to 8 year time. They call that the 7-year itch,
Right.
where often relationships make it or break it.
Right.
Maybe he
Made a mistake at that time.
made a mistake or said, you know what, like I'm not really loving my relationship. He met someone else, started having an affair, and then, I mean, maybe it would seem like the easy route, but I mean, no, he's never made a decision. He's never made a decision to leave his initial wife. Instead, he had a family with the other, and he's been leading this very duplicitous life. And the truth is, you're right, it is going to explode them, because I don't think, like she's saying, part of me doesn't want to do anything, but I bet you as soon as she sees him, you can't
could you
just,
not- how
you
could
can't
you-
just let that emotion.
Yeah, that would be really
I would not be able
difficult.
to hold that
Yeah.
in, you know?
oh, I couldn't.
And so that confrontation is coming, and then he's going to start going through divorce proceedings. And how do you hide that from the other family?
I think he's probably a master liar, obviously.
Oh yeah, he's
So he would
huge
be
he,
able to
he
liar.
hide
could be like one of those people that's like a habitual liar. Like he starts to believe his own lies.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there are some updates that she's posted 6 months later.
Ooh,
So I can read that for you.
juicy.
So this is reference to my post titled, "My Husband Has a Second Family." Firstly, I would like to start off by thanking everyone who had positive things to say. Widespread support has been so helpful during this period, and I am truly amazed at the kindness shown to me, so thank you. And now for the update. I won't be going into the details about the divorce because it is still ongoing, but do rest assured it is happening. So, I mean, I feel like that's good. Anyway, a few people seemed worried that I was going to stay with him, and for a period of time I would have. But no, we are divorcing. On that note, I have completely cut contact with him. Our contact is through lawyers only. He has officially moved out of the house, and my middle moved back in to help take over the break. My kids have, to my knowledge, cut most contact with him as well, but I haven't asked as it is not my place. Also, custody isn't a problem because my youngest turned 18 recently. We have also been in contact with the other family, and we've even spent Christmas together. That's a different twist. Despite being a little awkward at first, me and his ex-fiance are trying our hardest. Yes. Are trying our hardest to bring the kids together harmoniously. And that'll be the last update. I'm logging off of Reddit now, and I will continue living my life. And I'll try to support my kids through theirs.
Yeah,
I don't get it. My kids through theirs?
through their life.
Oh, so life through theirs. Yeah. But I'll forever be thankful for the support and love you all have shown me. Yours truly and sincerely, OP.
Ooh, first of all, so happy that divorce and
Yes.
ex-fiance, 2 statements I'm very happy to hear.
Yes.
Because, you know, your piece is You can't mess with somebody's peace. That's
No.
not fair.
That would just mess you up,
Yeah.
though.
But I will say I got tingles in my legs when she said that they spent Christmas together because those kids are family. They are
They're
siblings.
half siblings.
Yeah, just imagine that, and they're all similar ages. Like her family just sort of graduated and are in their late teens, early 20s, and his family is in their teens as well, right?
Yeah.
So they're close enough in
Yeah.
age that they can be friends and
Yeah.
get to know each other and
And
connect.
they
And,
can-
they're
Yeah.
devastated too.
They
Yeah.
are. And they can actually fully understand the situation.
Yeah.
And
Unlike anybody else.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like they can support each other and, through those feelings of betrayal that every single one of them would have felt.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how I would feel. Like, I would feel devastated if I found out that my dad had secret children and that, like, when I thought that I was this special, I had this special relationship with him or whatever, and then suddenly he has it with a whole other family that I never knew about. And then I would feel, like, not even just talking about the mom on both sides, but, like, how as a child would feel in that. Like, that would mess them up, too.
Yeah.
So it sounds like both OP and ex-fiance have their head on their shoulders. and
100%.
They're not like, yeah,
I'm so glad.
crazy.
I'm so glad to hear that.
I'm glad he lived with them both. Like he split his time between them because even though they weren't married, that fiance still has that case for common law marriage.
100%.
To get, some child support, but also, it's too bad for both of the women that they're really not going to get half of his income or half of his assets. But I don't think he's going to walk away with too much because he's going to, like, if they're stay-at-home moms, he'll probably have to pay alimony to them.
Yeah.
And, and he'll be paying for his kids. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made some very poor choices.
100%.
Somebody
Yes.
here says, serves him right for the ex-wife and the ex-fiance to become friends and leave him out in the cold. Maybe he'll go start a third family.
Oh my gosh, he'll be too broke.
This guy, I'm sure.
He's just gonna get some like cats,
One
maybe
family
a
wasn't
dog.
enough.
That's probably all that will accept that.
Yes.
But I mean, one family wasn't enough for him. He went and started another. Maybe he will start a third family.
That's true. Ladies, always Google the man that you're dating. Especially
Yeah.
if he's an older man, because
Or-
guaranteed they're divorced. And who knows, maybe he's divorced not twice from two different women, like at two different times.
Or
Yeah.
all of us ladies know we all have a friend who is our FBI girly and who will be able to go and Google and find out this other person's entire life story and like what they posted in 2013.
Yeah.
And if they did something scandalous,
Yeah,
Like
I'm not that friend.
April
But
is that friend.
I don't know if I am. Am I? I don't know. But like, I mean, I know my way around to Google, but yeah.
I know. I have one specific friend that I can think of right off the top of my head that like she could find out their address. Like it doesn't.
You want to know?
Like
Yeah.
she will find the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have like the technology brain to get on with all of that. And also I feel like
Okay,
if
I
I had to
can say
Google somebody, I would like if I got a gut instinct, then they're not the one for me.
Reverse
Anyways.
Google search goes a long way. I'll tell you that.
Even before that existed, like when you and I met,
Insurance?
I became your roommate, and within a few days, you were just like, I think you said within the first day or two, I'm so excited to meet you. I'd already creeped your Facebook before I ever met
yeah, I definitely did. Yeah.
you. Yeah, like she just did the
mean-
deep dive in my life with the technology that was available like 15 years ago. And
If you're gonna live with somebody though, I get it. Like I've had
Yeah.
some roommates in the past that I probably should have
Yeah.
done
Me
that, or
too.
like talk to the friend that can do the deep dive.
yeah.
But every one of those people taught me a lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, true. That's exactly it. Anyway, that's all I had. So for the sus meter, what are we saying?
Oh, that's pretty juicy. Like,
I mean, I don't think it did devastate some people.
Let's see what our sus meter
Yeah, what is
is.
our sus meter
I need
again?
a little sus meter refresher.
I'm pulling it up. So we have chill, side eye, sketchy as fuck, major sus, and what the sus? I feel like it's
It's definitely sketchy.
I'd say sketchy as fuck.
I would say sketchy as fuck because
That's major sus. Like, you're messing with people's entire lives.
That's true.
Like, it's not
That's
like you're just
true.
like a crappy boyfriend with a girl on the side. That's sketchy as fuck.
it's true. The whole fact that he had a whole entire family, like whole
Yeah,
life,
that's true. And like kids.
kids,
Multiple.
and like
Quarter of a
teenagers.
century.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say major sus.
Yeah.
Majorly sus.
majorly sus. Yeah, I think that
Ding,
is
ding, ding.
fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair rating.
Majorly sus.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, so mine does not involve two families, thankfully, but it has its sus level because it involves a kidnapping of Wally, the emotional support alligator.
I need to know more.
Yeah, you heard me right. Wally is an emotional support alligator. This 8-year-old, 6-foot-long gator lived with Joe Henney in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not a swamp area. So Joe rescues and rehabilitates animals, and he actually didn't set out to keep Wally. A supporter reports that Joe first took Wally in after he was found as a baby gator in Disney World. His intention was to rehabilitate Wally and find him a permanent placement. I guess he couldn't be released back to the wild. However, Joey went through some really tough times. Over the span of a couple of weeks, he lost several family members, and Wally sensed this and started to cuddle up with him and even sleep on his head, apparently, and they became friends. And I don't know how I'd wake up to that. And they've been inseparable ever since. So the relationship has taken off, and at the advice of his doctor, Joe got Wally registered as an emotional support animal. And he's amazing. Joe takes him to seniors' homes, birthday parties, and he even made international news when he recently attended a Philadelphia Flyers game. Joe says Wally loves chin rubs and giving hugs, and he doesn't bite when people get close to him, no. Which Joe says he's never seen in his 3 decades of handling gators. And he even likes Cheetos with his breakfast.
Don't we all?
Wally has more than 145,000 followers on TikTok, 35,000 on Instagram, and 10,000 on Facebook. But to me, absolutely, Wally's biggest claim to fame is that he's the gator who inspired the Gator Loki on the Marvel show.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Really?
that's Wally. You know,
Is it actually Wally?
well, they see he was
It's
the
CGI.
inspiration.
Oh,
and then they
I thought for
CGI
a
created
second.
Wally, but that he's the gator that they did whatever. So he's got this huge following in Marvel, and for this story, he's got a lot of following as well. So Joe and Wally were visiting a friend in Georgia when, in the early hours of April 21st, Wally disappeared. Joe saw him at like 3:30 in the morning and then checked in on him at 7. His friend had an enclosure for him. It wasn't the first time they visited, and he was gone within those hours. And he posted the next day, Wally was stolen by some jerk who likes to drop alligators off into someone's yard to terrorize them.
What?
Yeah, so
he
some
takes
dude
the alligator?
took a 6-foot alligator out of this enclosure and put it down the road in some old lady's yard. And at one point he said it might have been in the house. So she calls the Department of Natural Resources, who have no idea who Wally is, right? He's
Right.
just like a gator in Georgia where there's swamp. And so they call a trapper, which is pretty commonplace. So the trapper came and got Wally and said he dropped him off in a swamp with about 20 other alligators the same day.
No.
So that's what this trapper does, is just go around and catch alligators and drop them, and put them back in the wild where they think they're from. A spokesperson for the Georgia Department of Natural Resources told NPR that a permitted trapper had responded to a nuisance alligator call. Can you imagine living in a place where there are
Is this in
nuisance
Florida?
calls? Yeah. Georgia. Georgia's like
Georgia.
a swampy
Okay.
state, too. I guess it has coastline like that. And it was later released in a remote location. So they thought that Wally was released in Okefenokee Swamp, which is a 430,000 acre swamp that hosts up to 13,000 alligators. And so that's where Joe and his friends started searching, because the trapper would not, and still has not, provided any additional information. They said that the trapper's story he wouldn't provide information, and he's not required to under the law, but they did say that his story kind of changed and shifted, so they found that kind of sus too. In a plot twist here, while reptiles are permitted as pets in Joe's home state of Pennsylvania, in Georgia, only licensed or permitted individuals can retain alligators in captivity, and Joe as a visitor is not licensed, And the Department of Natural Resources has told him they will not license him. And he can be arrested or fined if he even touches Wally. Or if he hires a trapper to find him, that trapper can be arrested too. So Joe's kind of caught in between a rock and a hard place. He's got a lawyer back in Pennsylvania, and he's hired apparently a good lawyer using a GoFundMe page. He's hired a lawyer out in Georgia who is working with him to help him, to get Wally back. Because Wally, remember, was rescued. He's not really equipped to live in the wild. He hasn't lived in the wild for almost a decade, and he was a baby when he was rescued. He doesn't have those instincts. So the good news is the lawyer has helped him to find out that Wally wasn't released into the Okefenokee swamp, but onto a private property. So I guess there's a lot of private landowners in Georgia that have maybe thousands of acres of swampy land, and they're okay with, gators being released on there because it's just part of the habitat. So if they can narrow down what property it was released to, they can actually search for him. But so far, they've been blocked by the Department of Natural Resources. They're sure from the indications that the department knows where he was released. Certainly the trapper does, who would report that to the department. So they're closer to a location, but it's more than a month later. So we're hoping Wally is still alive and that they can get the information they need. What are your thoughts?
I hope Wally's safe.
I know. As soon as they said that they released him with other alligators, it made me feel so sad because he doesn't know that life. He doesn't know that life. You can't just grow up in a house as an alligator and then be released.
Literally a house alligator.
He was a house alligator, and those alligators
How
in the
much is
wild
the
aren't.
fine?
Yeah. Did it say?
I don't know. He's the indicators I got were that he was strongly warned. You don't even get to touch him, much less give
I know,
the
but
gator a hug.
if they look for Wally and they find him, and the fine, and they fine the people, then what if they crowdfund to pay the fine?
Yeah, if he doesn't go to jail, absolutely. And truthfully, it's a huge swampy area. If they can get onto that, if this is a huge area and they can secretly get onto that land and find him somehow.
Yeah, or talk to the person who owns the land,
But they're
maybe.
having trouble finding a trapper who will work for them. And of
Yeah.
course, they don't know where to search.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I hope we
my
get
heart.
updates for this story.
Well, I don't have updates.
You can search. You can follow Wally, I guess, on TikTok.
Yeah, so you can follow Walligator. It's
Walligator?
Walligator on Insta, on TikTok, on Facebook.
Yeah.
The latest update was about 4 days ago, where they said they're talking with their lawyers. They believe they're making progress, but they have no updates that they're allowed to release.
Okay.
I do have some comments, though, that kind of caused me to think.
Okay.
So apparently the trapper got doxxed, and his info is all over the internet. But
Good. Fuck that guy.
But also the poor lady who had the gator released, who had the gator put into her yard and had no idea it was an emotional support animal.
How would you know?
She got doxxed too. So actually, I found their Facebook page really nice when they're saying please don't harass these people. It's not her fault. And the trapper, while we don't love that he's not sharing information, he was doing his job. He wasn't kidnapping. It's the
He
dude
also
who-
didn't know that it was an emotional
yeah.
support
Okay, that's
alligator.
true. It's
Yeah.
the guy that stole the alligator and put him in another person's yard.
Yeah.
That guy. Fuck that guy. Not
Yeah.
the trapper. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the trapper, he changed his story a few times
That's
as well.
true.
And one commenter says it's because the trapper most likely put Wally down.
I never even thought of that.
There's a market for alligator parts and skins and things like that. So maybe not.
No, Wally's still out there.
I'm hoping so. Apparently they can go a long time without eating. So even if he doesn't really have that natural
Instinct.
to attack.
Yeah.
But also, one person says that it should be in the wild has gone to nut job levels because so many people. Joe has actually had a lot of haters for having a gator because they say this should be in the wild. You shouldn't be keeping an animal like this, completely overlooking the complexity of the situation. So one commenter says the way the trapper changed the story tells me that they likely killed it because some people really hate the idea of exotic pets and somehow think death is better than living the life they've grown accustomed to from birth. I hope it's a fake story. And at least hopefully some animal cruelty charges and theft ones to the person who actually took the gator out to get these people to talk.
I think also the other thing that should be said, which would be if they do find Wally and he has now been in the wild, for him, an animal has natural instincts. And so his instincts were suppressed in some way when he was born into captivity, we'll call it that. But if he's been out in the wild, he's still alive, let's say Wally's good, for him to safely come back, their relationship would not be the same because it likely would be more dangerous because of the situation that Wally's been in for however long.
Yeah, because we don't know what Wally's seen now. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, like...
Well, those natural instincts can start coming back or being awakened.
Yeah, exactly.
And so...
Or, like, what if he, gets attacked by another alligator or something? Like, that could... Like, I had a dog that was fantastic with other dogs, and then it got attacked by 2 dogs. She could never be around dogs again. Yeah. You just don't know what could happen between animals.
Well, and a dog is much different than an alligator.
Exactly.
And dogs can be dangerous, and they're house pets.
Exactly.
The thing is that it is a gator, so...
Oh.
That gives me an interesting thought. Like, one follower said, I wonder why Wally was never microchipped, Though it's pretty hard to, go find a microchipped alligator in the same way. Or somebody said he should be wearing an air tag, which might not survive swamp life. But if Wally is found, I think it would be cool. Like, yes, he'll have to be assessed. But you know how scientists and biologists can chip animals like dolphins and see where they migrate?
Yeah.
I think while he's being assessed, it would be good if he was chipped. So even if he has to be released to swamp life, Joe might have the joy of seeing how he's doing or knowing where he is.
Yeah.
Or they could follow him and see his
that
progress.
Could give him some comfort.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a whole, gator watching club.
But you know what? I know this is a bit random, but in my head, when we were talking about emotional support, I was thinking he should have been wearing a vest. He should, I'm sure.
He does have a vest, but he was just in this guy's backyard.
So he wouldn't have been wearing it.
He wouldn't have been wearing it. I saw a video of the backyard. It's an enclosure with a chain link fence that's dug in 2 feet underground, so he didn't dig out.
Right.
But it also has a little pond in it, so he would lay in that pond. When he was out and about, when Joe would take him places, he did have a vest, and it was this red, sort of more like a harness, and it had his name and a phone number, and it's very visible. But not when you're at home in the backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're not going to wear your... Like, if a dog has a harness, it's not wearing it at home.
Yeah.
Poor Wally.
Yeah, our hearts go out to Wally, and we hope that he's alive and well. And
I hope for a good resolution, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And also some justice.
Yeah, you can't just go around stealing pets.
It sounded to me like they knew who did that, and whether or not they felt it was right to take an alligator, that's still trespassing and breaking into an enclosure. There are charges that could be laid there, and I think they should be.
What kind of psycho goes and steals an alligator in the first place and puts it into someone's yard? That could be super dangerous.
Right?
If it wasn't Wally, he's obviously done it before. Has somebody been seriously injured by that? I don't know much about alligators or crocodiles or anything, to be honest with you. I'll put that out there right now.
Well, they have a reputation for a reason.
I mean, yeah, they're alligators, man. I would be terrified.
Yeah. I've watched videos of people riding a bike past an alligator, and I'm like, the bravery.
I was just thinking of Crocodile Dundee. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I would be terrified if I saw an alligator. Also, we're from Canada, so there ain't no alligators here.
No.
There ain't no alligators here.
I don't even think we have it at the zoo.
I don't even know.
I don't think so.
One of my favorite memories from childhood is going to, wasn't Disney World, but it was some sort of alligator place near Disney World. We were down visiting in Florida.
Oh, Florida.
And I got to hold a baby gator. Well, I had a python around my neck.
They're really cute, though.
Amazing.
They are cute.
Yeah. You didn't hear my story.
I did. I was just thinking of how cute a baby gator was.
It was adorable. It had a little strap on its mouth, though,
makes
for
sense.
full disclosure. And I was wearing some sort of fluffy jacket, a little, blue fluffy chicken. And I was like, I was so
I want to
excited.
see that photo.
Yeah.
I found it. I have to find it again. It'd be great.
Yeah, we'll bring it, and if we can find it before we post this, we'll.
Oh my God, yes.
If we found it, it's here right now.
Yeah.
If we didn't, it's
Not.
It's gone.
Look how cute I was.
Yeah.
If we found it, there it is.
If it's not there, just use your imagination.
Just
Fluffy
for the
chicken.
record, it's too far back to have been Wally, but not much too far back.
Wait. Oh yeah. Yes, because she's only 25.
Yeah.
The eyebrows. It's the eyebrows for me. Her face. She's like,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Wally,
Wally,
you have our
yes.
best. Yeah. And Joe
Yes.
too.
And
Follow
Joe
them
too,
on
for sure.
TikTok, and you can get updates there on Wally the alligator.
Yeah.
The sus meter for Wally and the trapping. What do you think? I feel the whole situation. Oh yeah, I feel the whole situation is just so sad, and I feel so bad for Wally. And what's the guy's name?
Joe? What's
Joe.
Joe.
And Joe. I don't know. It's not chill, that's for sure. It's a lot of weird bureaucracy stuff.
I'm feeling like a lot of emotions around that one.
Yeah.
Like I'm not feeling like angry about it in a way, but I'm feeling like just really sad. Like that just
Yeah.
makes like it tugs in the heartstrings, you know. And I'm not an alligator person, but
No.
I am a Wally person.
Me too.
And what's the yellow one? Because the
Sketchy
yellow
as
is
fuck?
like in the middle, right?
Sketchy.
So I want to say it's on like the low end of the sketchiness because of the kidnapping part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sketchy as fuck.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
how
I'm
sketchy
gonna
as
say
fuck.
solidly sketchy because it's criminal acts.
It's criminal acts.
you
Yeah.
know,
And we don't know yet. We still don't know what's happening.
well, and
Yeah.
also the potential of this woman to be injured by an alligator. Like this dude actually physically breaks in, takes an alligator, puts it in someone else's
Yeah.
home.
yeah.
You know,
Terrible.
so first of all, you see some guy creeping around your house. That's scary enough. And then he's left an alligator. No. So
Yeah, I'm
for
not
that,
cool with that.
solid sketchy.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
And I'm really rooting for Wally. And
Yeah.
Joe. Like, actually, we don't know what Wally's going to be like
But we know
when
that
he's
Joe
found,
is
but
Joe
I'm
is
hoping that they'll be reunited.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want Joe to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we lose pets sometimes or pets pass away and emotional support pets. We don't get to keep them forever.
Yeah.
But they leave a big hole in your heart.
Yeah.
You know? So we feel
Yeah.
you, Joe.
I'd like some closure for Joe, too, either way.
Either way, that's
Yeah, just to
exactly
know
right.
what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want. I don't know. In that situation, would you rather want to know if they put him down, or if, would you want to think like, oh, he's out there living his life? Like in some way, it's kind of better to not know.
Maybe. I'd like
I
some
see that. I see
closure.
that point.
Like, we released him here. We haven't found any dead alligators.
Yeah.
I don't know what closure looks like if you can't find him. I'd like him to be found, ideally. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Lori, you're next.
Okay, so this story I have labeled Vegan Landlord Situation. I found it on BuzzFeed, and the source was Sawyer. So there was a tenant, and they had a rat problem that was there before they moved in. It got worse during the year that the tenant lived there. They kept texting the landlord asking for help and to get an exterminator, but the landlord was vegan and said they were not going to pay to have the rats killed, which is understandable. That's what the person even said. Like, they get that. So they went with humane traps that caught 2 out of 50. So the tenant moved out and the rats were still there, obviously. Not only did they move to a different city, but they moved out of state. So this person left. Like, they were gone. Now, the tenant got a call from animal control saying that they were being reported for abandoning the rats.
What?
That's right.
That's amazing.
The landlord told animal control that the tenant had rescued them from outside and decided to domesticate them, which means, to make them a pet. So the tenant had to send all of these screenshots of all of the texts asking for help to get rid of the rats to the head of animal control to avoid the abandonment charge.
That is Such a rude thing to do.
What?
Yeah. So that's that. So what do we think? What do we think?
I think, what the fuck?
Right?
Oh
Okay,
my
they
gosh.
abandoned the rats? The rats moved in. Oh, I guess they had squatters' rights.
I just feel like rats are self-sufficient. He's just unhappy that the rats can't pay rent.
They're like
Yeah.
unhinged.
Unhinged. Unhinged, I think, is absolutely the word here.
Wait, who charged them with abandoning the rats?
The landlord,
The vegan landlord.
the vegan
charged them
landlord,
with abandonment.
contacted animal control.
Yo, he owns the house.
Yeah.
It's up to him.
It's his house. He can house the rats if he wants to.
But they ain't paying rent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
I mean, but he doesn't want to do anything about them, so he can have a house full of rats if he wants.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. He actually does want to get rid of them. He wants to rent the place. So he concocts this story to, I don't know.
A judge will throw that out.
Well, obviously, because even the screenshots. And so Animal Rescue. So he contacts Animal Rescue to have the rats rescued.
Animal control.
Animal control, because
Yeah.
he's saying these rats are domesticated
Yeah.
because he doesn't want them to die.
That's right.
Vegans don't want to kill anything.
They're going to end up in a science lab somewhere, and then they will die.
No, they're going to die no matter what because
Yeah.
they're too. Science lab rats are like grown in a
That's true.
controlled environment, you
That's
know?
true.
Yeah.
They're not going to take like old tenant rats, be like, hey.
Yeah, his domesticated rat. Oh my gosh.
So
That's so wild.
this
Literally.
vegan
People
guy's
are
long
wild.
game is actually to get these rats rescued and get them out of his house. So he doesn't want them in his house. He won't deal with them himself. So he's called this rescue to get this guy charged, but end game is to get the rats out without having to lift a finger or pay any money.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
kill them.
He's
Yeah,
just
he
a
doesn't want them to
slumlord.
die. Slumlord. Yeah, that was the word
He's
that
the
came
vegan slumlord.
Now that would have been a good title.
This is our title. The vegan slumlord.
So yeah, I this made me feel some kind of way when I read this story.
Like walnut ice cream.
Took me right back to the walnut. Because I've lived in a lot of places. I've had a lot of landlords, and
Some
I've
slumlords.
some slumlords for sure, like 100%. But I cannot say that any of them would have been this wackadoo. Like this feels wackadoo to the extreme.
I just, who imagines up a story like that? Like, who just comes up with that? That is a stretch. That's like fantasy novel stretch, like that kind of imagination.
Right?
It's like I don't know, he's like trying to figure out the best way to go about to save money.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, for sure. He doesn't want to spend
Yeah.
the money. He does because he doesn't. It just seems like he doesn't want to spend any money to like even get them removed in any sort of way. You know, like there are. You don't have to kill the rats, but you have to do something to get these out of the. Like you can't live with rats. That is not.
No, it's
Safe.
not safe.
I used to have mice, but I had them as.
I've had them too, yeah.
But like I had them as pets.
Oh, okay.
Well, not really. I had a snake. So they were really just the snake's dinner. I would name them dinners 1,
You
2,
changed
and
your
3.
tune so fast.
But
I had mice as pets, but then I fed them to my snake, so actually they were dinner.
Dinner 1, 2, and 3. That's
Yeah.
so cold and hilarious.
But one of them, I actually kept him because he was very smart and he would train the other
4.
mice. No, I actually gave him a name because he was not going to be a dinner.
You would train the other mice to like walk toward the snake.
Well, he was very funny and very cute, and so I had a little wheel, like a little hamster wheel, but he would run on the outside of the wheel, which I thought was hilarious. And like when I would put the new mice in the terrarium or whatever it's called, he would teach them like where the food was and like where the water. Like he'd be like, "Welcome, let me show you around," and
Until you die.
yeah, like he wanted them to be comfortable until they were.
He knew he needed to make himself useful if he wanted to stay around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. His
was
name was
like-
Ash.
he was like the secretary
He was the secretary.
that
He
led
was
the
very
other mice
welcoming.
to their death.
Yeah. He was very kind to them.
Did you have Ted at the time?
No.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering if you were like saw this wackadoo mouse and then you're like, oh, it reminds me of my weird dog.
I just have one more thought about the whole landlord tenant is I just wish I knew the angry circumstances of the move out, because obviously they were not friends for this.
Oh yeah, they were not on good terms. You can just imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So,
What's our sus meter?
Yeah. I would say definitely. Okay, for the vegan slumlord,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I would say major sus, because rats are gross. Okay, my cats killed a rat once. It was twice, and once in front of me, and it like she was so proud of herself, and the blood splurted everywhere. It was disgusting. Anyway, trigger warning. So yeah, I would say just because of my own creepy history with rats in the recent past, I will say a majorly or no. Yeah. What the sus?
You're giving it a red?
Yeah, because I hate rats.
I mean,
I hate rats.
I don't think this is like life ruining.
It is. It is.
You're
You know what?
saying
You
this
tell
is-
that to those people who had to get and live with those rats.
You're saying this is worse than the dude with the 2 families.
Yes. Officially on record.
Okay, I'm giving it a 3, whatever that is. Like, sus as fuck.
No, that's not what it is.
Well,
Sketchy as fuck.
Sketchy as fuck.
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely sketchy, bordering on the next one because he actually took legal action.
I think that's the
Majorly sus,
thing.
yeah.
Like, this person moved out of state
To get away.
to get away, and the landlord was like, "Oh no, you didn't."
Oh, no, you didn't.
And was like, "Listen here, bucko, you are going to deal with these mice." But it's not that person's responsibility. They moved in knowing that there was mice or rats,
Yeah.
knowing that there were rats, and it only got worse.
But I mean, who knows what the housing is like? Like, we have housing issues up here. Sometimes you do the best thing. Like, I moved into a place after I left my ex. I had to move real fast, and I moved into kind of a crap hole. With
Yeah.
kind of a crappy landlord. I knew in advance there were mice. How did I know? We opened the cupboards and they were full of mice poop.
oh yeah,
But I
that's the
had, like,
clear indicator.
I had days to move out. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, but it was like mouse poo, not
But
rat
mice are
poo.
not rats. Like, I don't know.
Rats
I don't
are
know if I could have done
disgusting.
it.
They're
Like,
huge.
Yeah, rats are huge. I remember going to Seattle and going down like some alleyways, and I saw some rats, and those rats have seen some things as well.
Their beady little eyes.
The
So
giant
what's-
tails.
What's your rating?
Majorly
What's your rating?
sus
What's your
at
rating?
least.
What's my
Lori?
rating for that? I would say it's definitely sketchy as fuck. Borderline
Majorly sus.
majorly sus.
Yeah,
Just because it's
on
legal
the high-
action. Just because
high
of legal
end
action.
Sketchy. High end of sketchy.
Okay.
Yeah. But your original response was "what the fuck," I believe. So it does make sense that April wants to say "what the sus."
Rats are gross. That's all I'll say about that.
Period.
Period. All right, thanks for tuning in to This Is Sus. What did you think about today's topics? About Wally and Joe? I guess that's on the top of my mind. The lady who had the man who had 2 wives. And I'm totally blanking.
Slumlord.
Oh, Slumlord, vegan Slumlord. What? Let us know on Instagram. You can comment there, or on other social media, or on Facebook, and kind of everywhere podcasts are posted as well. Give us a follow, give us a subscribe, turn on the notifications. Don't forget to do all of that stuff. You can rate our podcast there. And so until next time, be curious.
Seek the truth.
Stay suspicious.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Stop. Okay.
If
you're
you-
actually
if you zoom
super
it, maybe?
distracting on my butt. The butt touching is like so weird and distracting.
Oh,
The butt touching is like so weird and distracting.